Today we're going to talk about what absolutely needs to be perfect and what just needs to get done. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am Chris, this is Dirty Trucker 08, and today we're talking about what needs to be perfect. I mean, just spot on, no room for mistakes whatsoever, and what you just need to get done. What needs to get finished, no matter what, it's just got to get done in an allotted amount of time. More specifically, in the automotive realm slash YouTube life type of thing, I follow several channels that do a lot of work. Some of it's perfect, some of it's less than perfect. I'm gonna back up here just a little bit. Over the weekend, I was working on the two Cherokees with my son. Yes, there are two Cherokees. You'll see the classic later. Don't worry, that one's coming. It's actually his. But I was making a filler panel to take care of that gap that was left open after the fire. You remember the fire. Plasma fire. It was awful. If you haven't seen that video, I'll try and put a card up here. One of these somewhere. It's up there somewhere. I'll try and remember to put that in for you. You should definitely check that out. But anyway, I was working on making this, metal panel to fit in there. I'll throw in a couple pictures here. You can kind of see, like the first test fit. If you follow my Instagram, which is Dirty Trucker 08, also, you've probably seen these pictures. But I'm going to assume you don't follow my Instagram, so here we go. This first picture, this was a test fit. Just a couple bends, a little bit of cutting to make it fit. It fit in that hole pretty good. Here's the second picture. You can tell that I was already starting to weld a little bit, getting it kind of tacked in. And it was at this point that I started thinking to myself, this is actually fitting pretty good for a woods vehicle. It's going to be mostly off-road, but still streetable-ish. And it got me thinking, this is actually pretty good for Big Chief, but it's not perfect. And that got me thinking about the Fab Forum, Kyle Voss's channel here on YouTube. I'll put a link below to his channel. Here's a picture of what he's, his current project, the Bibster. It is amazing. And as you can see, I mean, this thing is flawless. He is taking his time. He's got all the skills and the tools to just make it perfect. I'm not near as skilled as him, nor do I have the tools or the shop yet. That's still 3 or 4 years out to be able to do that level of work. And even with the right tools, I still don't have the skills he does. Just the level of practice I would have to put in and instruction I would have to get to be able to be at his level is far beyond any timetable that I can see in the foreseeable future. But I think the bulk of my work is good enough. It gets the job done. It might not be the prettiest, but it's good enough. It gets it done. Now for him and his project, my level of skill would be doing that project a huge disservice. But when you're working on your own project, you've got to look at what your end goal is. What's the point of the build? Because whenever you're working on engine stuff, tolerances and whatnot, you've got no room for error or the engine's going to blow up. That has to be perfect. But aesthetically, depending on what the build you're doing is going for, take my Rat for example. All the body work I've done on the back of that thing, or lack of body work that I've done on the back of that vehicle, fits perfect. It doesn't need the level of skill that Kyle has on his channel. The amount of effort and perfection that he would put into it would kind of miss the point. The Rat's supposed to be ratty. That's what it is. And that's not to say that he couldn't make something ratty if he wanted to. If that was his goal, I'm sure he's more than capable of doing that. But I suppose it comes down to more of the project you're working on than any other real thing. So if the project you're working on is meant to be absolutely flawless and perfect, you have to have flawless and perfect skill. Otherwise, you're just shortcoming everything, and it's not going to turn out too great. But if you're working on a daily beater, daily driver, something you're going to go out and smash around, then it doesn't necessarily have to have flawless body panels on it. You can allow yourself some gap, some room, some error, some flaws. But I want to know what you guys think. Whenever you're working on your vehicle, what portions do you say have to be absolutely perfect? As some of you know, I'm part of a local car club, the 417 German Auto Still. They're on Facebook. You can look them up if you're into the German car scene. And we've got several people that have vehicles that are less than perfect. I'm one of them. And we've got several guys with cars that if it's got a speck of dust on it, that drives them absolutely nuts. So does it come down to more of the person than the actual skill level? Some people are just demand perfection regardless the cost or the effort, and other people are like, good enough, I got it done. Or does it come down to more of time and effort? If you've got the weekend to work on something and you've got a car show coming up and you're like, I'm taking the car regardless, I've got to get this done no matter how it looks or turns out. You know, a time constraint can be a big factor in what's good enough, what's done, and what can't be finished yet. I don't know, I'm just rambling here anyway. It was just a thought that came in over the weekend, what needs to get done and what can be perfect. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I will see you next time. Thanks for hanging out.